Boy, we have a lot to talk about today. Now, what you're looking at is probably one of the worst tier lists you have ever seen in your life. As you can see, we have Jason on S tier, we have Elliot on B tier, all the supports on B tier, except for Taz. And 007 is as good as Dusakar, bro. We need to lock up Forsaken. Let's talk about this. So, Kaiser in the Forsaken Discord server recently did a whole bunch of polls talking about how good certain characters are, and I'm just gonna review some of them and go over them because they are beyond stupid. Alright, now for the first poll, it's actually pretty tame how strong is Noob. People say A tier, I say B tier, majority is A and B, and that's fair, you know, Noob is strong at being a survivalist, but this isn't what we're gonna talk about today. This is one of the things we need to talk about, bro. How many people put Elliot on B tier is criminal, man. One of the best survivors. He has one of the best looping potential and healing on B tier. Yo, what are these Elliots? What are these Elliots? Nah, it gets worse. We have officially done it, folks. Guest is almost S tier. How is this possible, bro? How is this possible? Shaletsky, Chance, two-time, all the other Sentinels are better than Guest. And sure, you can hit like a good parry every once in a blue moon against a decent player, but how is it S tier? How? What's the reasoning, bro? The charge is like decent. Alright, now we move on to Shaletsky. I put him at S tier. I can understand A tier. Shaletsky is very, very powerful if used right. His chicken is so OP. Honestly, I kind of agree with this one. I don't have much to say about this one. How strong is Chance? I say S tier because I mean Chance is just godly being able to shoot through walls. A tier, B tier, I can understand A tier, not B tier at all. And then you have some idiots saying, oh, you can't put Chance on a tier list because he's an RNG character. Bro, it is a 5% chance your gun blows up. You have a 90% chance to get the best stun in the game, ranged, easy to land, goes through walls, counters literally every killer, and then you have idiots saying, oh, but it's a little bit of RNG, you can't write it. Bro, there's like barely any. Now, of course, we should consider the fact that there's RNG, but he's still S tier. Now, I like how Forsaken collectively added their brain cells together and stopped drooling to vote for this one, because majority says two-time is A or S tier, which I heavily agree with. I'm just wondering who's the 2% or 600 people who vote at D tier. I don't know what the hell they're smoking on, if they're rage baiting or they just like need to log off. Alright, 007, I agree with this one. It's just, I don't know how he could be B tier, bro. I agree with the people saying C tier, but B tier, come on. Like how? In 10% saying S tier, bro, what are these people smoking? These votes are horrible. 007 is literally the worst survivor. This one's just straight up stupid. B tier for Dustakar. Let me get this straight. You have a zap that can slow down the killer and stall chase with a good player. You have a zap that can give someone overheal so they can eat an entire mass infection. Your shield's OP. Your whole kit is amazing, especially a zap. One of the best supports, if not the best support, depending on the circumstance. Say, for example, you're fighting against 1x. Elliot and Dustakar would be the best supports by far. We have B tier. Alright. You know what, there's not too much to yap about here. I'm not gonna lie, Builderman, A tier. If you're putting that B tier, you know, maybe it's the matchup, maybe it's against 1x and they think that. I can see both perspectives. Builderman's good, you know, not much to say here. You know, I quite like this one because around 70% of people said it's A and B tier for Taff, and I actually agree with that. You know, the Forsaken, like, players, they actually combined the brain cells once again, and they collectively voted on an actual valid option. But don't worry, once we get to the killers, y'all will see how bizarre these votes are. Don't just you wait. Now, before we go on to Jason, I want you guys to think in your mind. What tier do you think Jason is? S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, F tier? Which one do you think it is? I'd say majority of people say Jason is C tier or under. If you know, you're good at the game, you know what you're doing. If you played a lot of Jason, just look at this. What the fuck is that? What is that? What? What? Half of the player base thinks Jason is S tier. Are these the commenters from my last video? Are these the people? 48% on Jason S tier. No, don't even get me started. 31% on A tier, bro. That's 80% almost. That is 80%. People, 80% of the players think Jason is S and A tier, bro. And then 5% think it's C tier. And then 2% think it's D tier. Bro, we gotta lock up. We have to lock up. Everyone needs to go. Log off. I should have quit. Now this one, it ain't that bad, you know. At a pro level, Cool Kid's A tier. You know, he gets shut down, but his DPS is very, very good still. Honestly, I agree with this one. You know, competitively, Cool Kid's pretty good, I guess. And then casually, Cool Kid's very good. So you have S and A tiers. Yeah, nah, this is criminal, bro. This is actually criminal. B tier for John, B tier, B tier. Nah, this is what it is. Everyone thinks that John Doe got reworked, and oh my god, he's so bad now. When he's literally in the best state he has ever been right now, balance-wise. Well, like, balance-wise as in he is the best state he's been in, not for the game, but for himself. Additionally, I think these people pick this because as a new player, you play John Doe and you get destroyed because you don't know what you're doing. I first played John Doe and I was like, wow, this guy is the worst killer when I was first playing Forsaken. Got on to level 100 and then, you know, learned things about him. He was really actually good. Wow, can you believe that? These players are so bad if they think John Doe's B tier. And not even that. I was in the Discord server talking about why John Doe shouldn't be B tier. And this guy was like, I have level 100 on John and he sucks. Buddy, I don't know what to tell you, but you're ass if you think John Doe sucks and you have level 100. There's no way. And some guy said, John Doe isn't bad. He's just the weakest killer. How is he the fucking weakest killer? Now we all saw 1x being an S tier and some putting him in A tier. I still think it's by far the best killer in S tier. You know, 1x definitely needs a lot of nerfs and reworks, mainly reworks, because right now the ranged killer being best up close with his ranged abilities instead of, you say, farther away, it doesn't really make sense fundamentally. Also, he benefits way too much from M1s up close. You know, 1x just has the best M1, which, you know, for a ranged killer, it's stupid. He has also the best projectiles and abilities in the game. His whole kit is fucking brain dead, man. If you know what you're doing, if you can predict it, it's brain dead, bro. Like, of course, sometimes you'll lose if you get unlucky, but 9 times out of 10, you're gonna stomp every single time. And 10 times out of 10 if you're in a public lobby. Anyways, yeah, we all saw this one coming. 1x is OP, please nerf him. See, this is a prime example of what we call a pub stomp. A public stomping. What it is basically a killer destroys everyone in a public lobby, and then people are like, wow, that killer destroyed me. Maybe that killer's really, really OP, and it's not just the player being better than us because our team is horrible. That's the same thing for Nova. You have people that are getting mauled to death because they can't avoid Void Rush. They get hit with every Nova and every M1, and they fall for all the fake generators and the fake Nollies and all of that. And they're like, wow, this guy is so good. But he's not, bro. Just learn to play around them. Now, I'm not saying he's as bad as Jason by all means, but is he even close to the GOATs like 1x? Or any other killer that's actually comp? Hell no, he ain't. No, he is not that good. Now we come back to the special little tier list. This isn't anybody's tier list. This is the Forsaken community's tier list. If you pull up all the votes and get them on a tier list, this is what we got. We got Jason on an S tier. We have the other killers on A tier, and then John Doe is at B tier. Elliot's at B tier. Builderman's at B tier. Dustcar's at B tier. Everyone knows supports are the best survivors in the game alongside Sentinels. Why are 3 of them in B tier in the same tier that a survivalist 007 is in? How is Noob better than Elliot, Builderman, and Dustcar? How? Like what? Guys, would you rather want 5 guests or some Elliots and Builderman? Because obviously, bro, this is what we're having on our team comp. And I think Chance like barely made it in A tier, bro. I think people want to put him in B tier. And I mean, 2-time being at S tier makes sense, 1x being at S tier. You know, let's go over what makes sense. 2-time makes sense here, 1x makes sense here, Shaletsky maybe makes sense here, Cool Kid makes sense here, Noli is debatable, put his ass down at D tier. The other one's just bullshit, bro. Just bullshit. But this needs to be fixed so badly, bro. It's so bad. Oh my god. Now, I think the developers have a few brain cells, and, you know, they're not shit at balancing like the players are that play this game, and I would definitely say this doesn't impact their decisions, but I will say out of all the decisions, I think it does impact Elliot's Rush Hour change, because I know they nerfed Rush Hour a lot, and they reversed that change really fast, as all the casual players who play Elliot and suck at the game are like, Elliot's so bad now, man, I can't play Elliot, my Rush Hour sucks. But it's like, bro, first off, get good at the game first before you start balancing out everything and thinking you know everything. It's taken off Stop doing these shitty polls and with your shitty vote that has no backup and logic besides the fact that you played with one guy and they're either bad or good. Like, bro, actually know what you're talking about so that developers can get a clear and concise answer on what is what and how good this is or not. I mean, I'm sure they know. I really hope they know where this game's gonna go to so much shit. But, anyways, yeah, that's all I want to FBAT today. I hope you guys enjoy, and yeah, I'm gonna go to bed, bro. I can't handle this.